Welcome. My name is Natasha Sherman, and I am your host. And my guest today is Jozef Pinter, and Jozef is an intuitive healer. Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here.
Yes,
today.
and I'm thrilled that you're here. And I want to ask you, maybe you could just say a little bit about what an intuitive healer is.
Okay, an intuitive healer can be many things. So first of all, I think the intuitive healer is somebody who can generate extra healing energy for, let's say, if I can generate for myself enough energy, I can generate for somebody else. And then the other part of this that I can, with a certain level, I can sense, let's say, energy in somebody else's energy field.
Right, and then you can impact it.
And I can definitely help this person to change any blockages in this energy field, if we talk about aura or chakras or meridians, so there are, or in a physical body, directly in the physical body, which we will talk about. There's like three levels that I have energy protocol,
right,
that I do with people.
You know, I may come, there's so much I want to ask you about, so I may come back to later how you got there, but I just want people to know that this didn't happen spontaneously, that you've had some trainings and you were trained as an acupuncturist in former Yugoslavia, yes?
Yes, that's...
And then you're a physical therapist and a Reiki practitioner and a reconnective healer, so
yes.
All of these things. And then you were sort of guided and led to what you do now. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah. So when I was about 25 years old, I already worked as a physical therapist.
Right.
And I was thinking, also I was always attracted to Chinese medicine, mm-hmm. So I did also some Chinese medicine classes and become an acupuncturist. So when I was working one day so I didn't have any information about my own energy yet at that point. As a physical therapist, I was working more as Chinese practitioner. You focus on those, let's say, yin yang. You have a knowledge about the energy, but you really don't feel it directly. Mm-hmm. So when my patient who was on a wheelchair, he mentioned about the energy, he said, "Oh, you have the energy that I can feel." So I was kind of asking, "What is this? How do you feel that?" And then he said, "Okay, I can explain to you, but first you try this work with the pendulum." So he showed me...
With a pendulum?
He showed me this small pendulum, and he gave me as a present.
Is that the same one?
No, this is not the same one. It was a small one, very simple, that, I would say the pendulums that we all know, upside down, drop, mm-hmm. like that. And then he said, "You just try and swing around and you will see, you can get the information from the pendulum." And I said, after 2-3 days, I didn't know what to do. It didn't really work for me. I was very kind of discouraged about that. And then, so he said also to me, if you kind of work on somebody, and he started explaining to me about the energy, and he had really, his shoulder was really, I would say, painful and weak. So he said, "Okay, if you put like your hands here and, so I did like more like a physical therapist, not mm-hmm. really as a healer. I looked at his shoulder more from physical therapy standpoint. And next day he comes back. So first his shoulder was he was sitting on the wheelchair. His, arm was he was able to lift up his arm up here, mm-hmm. not much. Next day, while I was working and he was explaining about this energy, I was working on him maybe 10 minutes. He came back and he said, "I can do this."
Yeah,
So after one session, I said, "I did this?" He said, "Yes." When we were talking about, obviously he had some kind of influence on me that I was able to access this energy that I didn't have from where it was coming. So,
Wow. So let's
and
fast
since
forward.
then we start. Yeah.
Since
I
then, the
started.
rest is history.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now I know I've seen you as a client. I've sent a number of people to you, and they have had extraordinary results. So let's talk about the actual process. Like, what does that pendulum tell you? And could we do something right here, right now?
Okay. Yes. Sure. We can do. Let's say pendulum work is, most people would talk about, that you calibrate pendulum and you ask questions yes or no. So let's say if I ask just question for myself, what is the pendulum answer for? What is the pendulum answer for yes for me? That pendulum would go around, or pendulum would go for no. For me is this way. So I don't want to go really
Right. Sure.
into this because we're not talking about dowsing right
Right.
now. So what I do is I put this, let's say this pendulum work, the dowsing, into a different perspective, how to access, for example, information for what type of food would be for somebody beneficial, what type of food would be neutral, and then pendulum would also show what type of food is negative, it's bad, or really toxic for somebody.
And it's very
So-
individual and specific for
Yes.
the individual.
So if I ask, I work with the charts, which I can show like this.
Right.
Okay. So there is a chart that goes from 0 to 100%, and if I ask, for example, I can ask for myself or I can ask for you.
Let's do me.
Okay. So
Can Natasha drink wine?
okay, let's see. What the pendulum show. How beneficial is wine for Natasha? White wine, it's not so. Maybe red wine is neutral.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so that's information right
Yes.
then.
Yes.
And you don't have to know what my history is, what my medical.
No, I don't have to know. Actually, it is better not to know, because then body tells our bodies, well, our energy tells the information. It doesn't tell, let's say, not what I think or what somebody else
Yes.
thinks.
The body is
The
telling
body
you
is
directly.
telling, yes, because just to access this energy, there is all the information inside on our energy field.
You know, it's so interesting because it can sound like, oh my God, give me a break. But if you think about it, when physicians are doing blood work and MRIs and all the tests that they do,
Yes.
they're looking for information from the body.
Yes.
And so this is very simple. They count on the body to give them the information, but they do it in their methodology. But you're saying, here, your body is telling me directly.
Yes, and every single cell has let's say, our cells, they emanate the energy. The new research actually shows that in the cells, we have also some kind of crystalline structures, that those crystals, they hold energy. Not just the DNA that hold in energy, but also some certain microcrystals, especially around the cellular membranes and inside in the cytoplasma that supposed to generate almost like microscopic generators for the energy, and all the information is there. So okay, we would not go probably even further from that. Let's say if we ask what is the physical information about something, we would get physical information. Then we have, let's say, emotional.
So let's talk a little bit about that.
So physical body is built from, let's say, what we eat, what kind of minerals, vitamins we need, supplements, herbs. So this is all about our physical, on a physical level. So this is physical energy. Then we have emotional energy, how we react towards something, negative or positive. Let's say if something is negative, let's say somebody we sense that somebody would hurt us, this is our reaction to that. Sure, could be on emotional level or even on a physical. So this emotional energy can affect then physical energy.
Right. Now, one of the things that you and I have talked about is the work you can do with people who have trapped emotions
Yes.
in their body, because those trapped emotions also can prevent physical healing. So do you have any examples of people that you've worked with to do emotional release?
Yes. So if we think about if emotions are trapped, they constantly interfere with our balance on all levels: physical, emotional, mental, and even if we talk especially also spiritual energy. So emotional release would be somebody who, I just recently have a patient who was not able to, let's say, release the anxiety. What was that anxiety? It was like it just came and nobody ever figured out what was that about. So this trapped emotion was because I would say number one, heartbreak. So we talk about heartbreak, and this trapped emotion was really in the heart. Somebody has like a, and so once it was released, this anxiety which was in the chest was completely gone.
Okay, so I want to, because that's very powerful, and you know, it's a fairly short process compared to what other methodologies you can use that are sometimes used. So did you sense this? Did you have any like messages kind of that came to you that saying, oh, something in the heart? What is it that indicated to you?
Okay, so indication was, so when I check with the pendulum, it says it was not physical, it was emotional. So once it is emotional.
So you can ask the pendulum
Yes.
that, yes.
Yeah, I can ask if it's physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual. So when it's emotional, so then I ask, actually there is a chart of all the possibilities where we can hold those emotions. So if we can hold, so basically first in the chakras, let's say, chakras really react to the emotions. So out of 7 chakras, I ask which chakra holding this. So it was heart chakra. If it's heart chakra, then I can ask, is this something that it's on the energy level, or it's really inside, already physical on the heart level? It's not like energy that is around the heart. That's different from heart chakra really to heart energy that it's kind of connected to the heart. Heart has extra two chakras, like a minor chakras.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. Oh, we know about 7 major chakras, but every single organ has also, like those major organs, they have 1 or more chakras on their own.
And these are energy centers.
These are energy centers, and there can be trapped, directly there can be trapped those emotions in the heart.
So this led you to the heart.
To the heart.
And then what do you do
And
with that?
then I ask, there are like emotional chart, again, you know, I have the ability, I mean, here are different charts, and one of them is emotional, what type of emotions actually we can experience, you know, up to 60 emotions. And when Pendulum shows this was heartbreak, it was heartbreak. And so the person that I tested, she would tell, yes, that was 10 years ago.
Wow.
And once this was determined, when it was, how, you know, this comes from the subconscious level to the conscious level, and then very, very simple way, which I have to say that this was not my technique. I learned this from Dr. Bradley Nelson, and his book, The Emotion Code, how to release the, you know, something like that, the trapped emotion. And it's very, very easy with a magnet. It's so easy that, you know, you cannot even think about that would be so easy. And it is almost instantaneous. It's about maybe 5 minutes.
Wow. So a couple of questions. So out of this, this person didn't have to relive that or re-experience it. It was just kind of in the moment that it was identified, it was then there was the possibility of releasing it. Does the person have to be willing to release it?
Yeah. First has to be determined if this person is ready and
Right.
willing. I mean, usually people would say, yes, I'm willing to release it. But then, are they ready? You know, if person is ready to release something like that, would be, I ask also with a pendulum, are you, is this person ready to release? And if the answer is yes, then I do it. Otherwise, it is maybe good to, because we have more than one trapped emotion. Usually, if person has a trapped emotion, would be, I notice, maybe 8 to 9 trapped emotions.
Around
Sometimes
one
around
subject?
one
or just,
subject.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So,
in a way that makes sense,
yes.
because there's, besides heartbreak, there's anger and stress. And,
yes,
yeah.
yeah. So when one is this disturbance, again, with a pendulum, which is, for me, some people do muscle testing, so I don't do that. I think it's much easier with a pendulum, because muscle testing can be a little bit like a, how somebody would react on a
Interpret,
person.
yeah.
Interpret. Muscles can be, let's say, weak, and maybe one person would have maybe some kind of trouble with the muscle, or, there are like different ways to do it. But anyway, with a pendulum, I think it's much more, if you know how to use this technique, it is 100%, accurate.
Wow. And the thing I want to clarify is, it's not the pendulum that's
No.
doing it.
Yes.
And it's
No,
not
no,
the
no.
pendulum that contains the information.
Yeah.
It's the person's energy giving the information at a very different level.
That's correct. The pendulum is just a needle on a scale, if we, think about that. And this needle actually moves, and gives the information what we can access with our, on an energy level. On intuitive level.
Right.
Yes.
Is it possible for your opinions and assessments and judgments to impact that in any way?
It is possible, yes. Because of that, is very. I have to train myself not to, let's say, affect the answer, because if I know maybe too much information, and especially when you want to ask about your own problems, it is the most difficult because you have some kind of judgment, you have
Sure.
Wishes, you want to, maybe this is not, like, you doubt about, this is not maybe the right answer or something. But when I, let's say, get information and sense the information about somebody else that I don't know, let's say, background, that's really the best way to get the accurate answers.
Now, is it possible that someone comes to you and you give them this list of foods and their reaction to the foods, and whether it's good, neutral, bad, toxic, and they come back a week later or even a day later? Could it be totally different?
Could it be, if people can have a, let's say, detox, you detox this particular problem from the body. Let's say somebody cannot eat, I don't know, fruit, like certain type of fruit that contains a lot of sugar, and then maybe the reason for that, underneath is maybe like a candida build-up in the body. So this candida build-up actually is the reason that this person cannot eat this type of fruit. When person would do candida cleanse, would come back, that would be fine then.
But then how would they know? How would they know that it's not the mango? You would.
I would tell. I would
so
tell
that
them.
would show up for
yes,
you.
yeah, that would show up that this person had the problem with candida.
Right.
Yeah, because usually, I would say, 50% people, maybe even more, can eat fruit, or at least, let's say, a certain percentage of fruits.
You eliminated most
Yes.
of the fruits from my diet.
So there is a sugar problem, or, but underneath could be candida, or that somebody has really a very big problem with diabetes. So the blood sugar would spike up, and then maybe this person doesn't even know. Maybe it can be hypoglycemic reaction in the body also. So a lot of a lot of fruits would have this kind of reaction on the body. So if we, let's say, eliminate for a while, or even eliminate for a longer period of time, maybe body release the sugar out of liver. We don't need to have like a really to be diagnosed with diabetes. It's not necessary. Only hypoglycemic reaction can be the reason that somebody would have like a low blood sugar. The blood sugar would go up and then would go down suddenly, and that's definitely not good for the body.
So through the diet, the body chemistry changes.
Yes.
Healing starts to take place, and just because of the body chemistry balancing, yes? I mean, that's the way I describe it, and I'm assuming because, I've talked to other people who have gone to you, we all have something totally different in terms of our diet, and I do notice the differences. So, what comes after that? Like, what's your most dramatic story of somebody changing their diet and then the result?
The result. I would say the most dramatic story was a lady who was in her 40s, and they just told her that she need to go, that she will never get better, and that she has multiple sclerosis. So that was her, diagnosis, and they said, "Oh, we will just give you now wheelchair because eventually in 5 years you will be on a wheelchair."
Wow, that's encouraging.
Yes. So she had a lot of muscle aches and weakness already in her body. Like her shoulders were really achy, and sometimes in the morning she would not be able to walk, like till she was kind of walking a little bit, walk off this pain. And she said, but usually some days she would be just in bed. And when I did the diet for her, it was one of the most restricted diets that I ever remember. She was like a vegan, so this means, no dairy, no meat. Most of the, even like vegetables were not good for her. And I think it was very restricted diet. I cannot remember really what was, like beans I know that were the only source of protein for her.
Wow.
So the beans and nothing else. Like even grains were really badly, gluten and everything.
So what happened?
Vinegar, I remember. So vinegar is almost in everything. So then, she was like, "Oh, I cannot do this." Like she looked at this chart, and it was like, how I did for you the chart. So the chart had like one side it was all X's, a little bit here and a little bit here, but everything else
was X'd out.
X'd out. She said, "I don't know if I can do this." Then, we were talking a little bit, and she said, "Okay, I will try for 2 months." She was like a little bit, she was, I think, also very good cook. So, when she saw that this food was like crossed out, she was emotionally hurt probably.
Right.
Yeah. And so, but you said dramatic healing, dramatic transformation in her life. I haven't heard from her, I would say 6 months. And one day she called me and she says, "Oh, I would like to come in for another session. I would like to see, if my diet kind of changed, because I said to her, maybe, eventually don't be discouraged. This might not be completely 100% what you need. Just the healing process need to start, when you heal, and then maybe you can have something what is on a bad list."
So we're running out of time. I
Yes,
want to find out. So she comes back.
She came back, and I look, there was like another 2 people. I think she brought 2 more people, 2 more friends.
Right.
And I looked around and I said, "Where is Lisa?"
So you didn't even recognize her?
No.
Wow.
She was a different person. She lost a lot of weight also, but also her face was different.
Wow.
So I said, I was
Right.
shocked.
Sure.
She said, "Oh, I'm Lisa."
Wow. You know, unfortunately, we're running out of time, but one of the things I wanted to say, that one of the biggest things I noticed when I looked at the diet and it looked like, I can't eat this, I can't eat this, is once I started doing the diet, and it's not like I do it 100% perfect every day, I stopped having cravings for any food. Even the foods that I loved and thought, oh, I can't give that up, they just became uninteresting to me. To me, that in itself is miraculous. And I do notice that if I cheat, like eat something that I know is really bad for me, like I ate a lot of white flour,
Yes.
I notice a negative impact immediately. Pain, indigestion, whatever, which I'd never noticed before. So for me, and everybody I've talked to, there have been dramatic differences. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but I just want to tell you that I think what you do is extraordinary.
Okay,
I invite anybody who has any issues that they're struggling with, you know, to check you out, even have a conversation with you, because I think what you do is amazing. So
Yes.
thank you for being here.
Thank you very much to invite me here, and I can do also the conversation or connections on Skype. So
Oh, great.
if anybody wants even to have like a 5 or 10 minute session on Skype, I can do that.
That's
because
important.
I can do the over Skype. I can do the the session.
Right.
Yeah.
It's great.
Sure,
That's
not
great
just
to
10
know.
minutes. I can
Do a whole session,
a whole session
right.
too. Yes.
But that's good, because for some people it seems like too far, but you can do
Yes.
it by Skype.
Yeah.
Jozef, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for having me.
My name is Natasha Sherman. Thank you so much for joining us.